Here's a little help for MINITAB 2 doing the histogram for the income, where I'm very specific as to the number of classes and the range of our data. We want 20 classes and a range from 0 to 800,000. We can calculate what our class width should be. Remember how that's done is you get the range divided by how many classes. So that would give us that our class width is supposed to be 40,000. So our bin should go from 0 to 40,000, then to 80,000, then to 120, and so forth. Well, how do we make a good histogram for this? We'll go into graph. Now you could use the cut point command and it would handle this beautifully, but if you don't want to learn the commands, how would you do this to get what you want just using the drop down menus? Well, you go to histogram. You want a simple one, hit OK. We want to do it with income. And there's lots of different ways to do this, by the way. This is just one. And so I get a histogram of just what I don't want. First of all, the titles aren't good and all that good stuff, so remember we do have to change those. And then we want to change the labels. So when I go in here, I need to make sure I've got what I want as far as my ranges go. So I'm going to tap into that x-axis, and first of all, lots of different things. I'm going to make my minimum be 0, my maximum be 800,000. I'm going to have to do my own positions of tick marks, so I'm going to have to change that, but I'll come back to that. First, I want to make it at the cut points, and I want 20 classes, but the way I'm going to do the 20 classes is not by putting them in here, but midpoint cut point positions. Well, since I want these at the cut point positions, I'm going to make them. So I'm going to go to 40,000, then I'm going to keep adding 40,000 until I get to 800,000. And this is somewhat tedious to do, obviously. You just have to put them in there. Now once you put in all the different cut points, you're just going to copy these, and you're going to put them into your scale too, the positions of the tick marks. And now you should come out with a very nice looking graph when you hit OK. And so there's your tick marks are in there. A little bit crowded, but that's okay. Now, as far as the y-axis, we wanted a relative frequency, and with the histogram, you can't, if you right-click, you're not going to see graph options, won't be there. So how do you make this relative frequency? You're going to touch the y-axis right there, and then I want to get the type of graph that I want is %. And I hit OK. Now I've got a relative frequency graph, and as you can see, these bars here are very, very small. There's hardly anything in them. So now I've got my graph for the income, and that's how you would do that. So I hope this helps everybody.